Story: The Whispering Field. There's a field near my hometown that people avoid, wide and wild, ringed by black trees. It looks ordinary enough from the road, just another stretch of forgotten farmland, but no one lingers there. Not the kids who ride bikes past its edges, not the hunters who comb the forest around it, not even the farmers who work land on the other side. Because at night, if you stand close enough, you'll hear it. The whispers. The story goes back more than a century, to a farmer named Harlan Pike. He built his home at the edge of the field and raised wheat so tall you could get lost in it. His harvests were strong, his family prosperous, and neighbors admired him for taming the land. But one season, something changed. Workers began to complain of strange noises. At first they said it was nothing more than the sigh of wind, except the air would be still. Other times stalks would rustle when no one was near them. The noises grew into words, faint voices too quiet to understand. Harlan dismissed the talk as superstition, but the whispers grew bolder. Soon the men said they heard their own names, spoken softly from the wheat. Some swore the voices belonged to their dead relatives. Others said they were promised fortune if they stepped inside the stalks, and one by one the workers stopped showing up. They left their tools behind, dropped where they stood, but their bodies were never found. When Harlan tried to burn the field, the flames wouldn't take. Fire licked at the wheat but never blackened it. The smoke turned on him, blowing back toward the house in thick, choking waves. Within weeks, his wife and children vanished as well. Neighbors came to help search, but the farmhouse was silent and empty. The tables still set for dinner, the beds unmade. The field grew wild after that, reclaiming the farm until nothing was left but the house's blackened stone foundation. The story of the Pike family became a warning: never set foot in the field after dark. I grew up hearing the legend, but like most kids I thought it was just a story. Until the summer I was 17 when my friends dared me to spend a night there. There were 4 of us: me, Tommy, Carla, and Blake. It was one of those hot nights when the air feels thick enough to drink, and we'd been passing a bottle of cheap whiskey around to give ourselves courage. At midnight we hiked out, laughing too loud, pretending not to be nervous. The field stretched out under the moonlight, silver stalks swaying though no breeze stirred. We built a fire near the edge, its glow pushing back the dark just enough to make us feel brave. For a while it was ordinary. We told jokes, passed the bottle, and watched the sparks spiral upward. Then, faintly, I heard it. My name. I froze. The others were still laughing. The voice hadn't come from them. It had come from the field. It was so soft I thought maybe I imagined it. But then I heard it again, stretched thin like breath through cracked lips. "Come in." I looked at my friends, but none of them had noticed. The fire popped. Blake swore at the sparks, and I tried to laugh it off. My heart thumped hard. Then another voice rose above the others, clearer, more familiar. My cousin Eric. Eric had disappeared 3 years earlier while camping up north. No body was ever found. But now I heard him, unmistakable, his voice drifting from the wheat. "It's me," he whispered. "I'm waiting. Come in." My chest clenched so hard I could barely breathe. Without realizing it, I was on my feet, drawn toward the field. The stalks rustled, though the night was still. I stepped inside. The wheat closed around me, taller than my head, the firelight fading behind me, until the world was only shadows and whispers. They rose from every direction, dozens of them. Some I recognized, my mother's voice, my grandfather's, friends who'd long since passed. Others belonged to strangers, speaking in tongues I didn't know. The voices brushed against me like cold fingers, tugging at my sleeves, guiding me deeper. I don't know how long I walked. Time twisted in there. My legs ached but I couldn't stop. The stalks seemed to part for me, leading me toward something. And then I stumbled into a clearing at the center. The earth here was bare and cracked, black as if it had been scorched. In the middle stood a scarecrow, only it wasn't made of straw. Its frame was bone. Human bones lashed together with twine, skulls lashed at its shoulders, ribs woven into its chest. Its arms were outstretched, fingers made of broken femurs and sticks. Its hollow eye sockets glowed faintly red, its jaw hanging open. The whispers stopped. The silence pressed in like a weight. Then the jaw snapped shut with a sickening crack. Slowly the skull tilted, and the scarecrow looked at me. The voices screamed all at once, no longer whispers but shrieks. My head throbbed, my vision swam. The ground shifted beneath me, splitting open like a mouth. Pale skeletal hands clawed their way out, grasping my ankles, my wrists pulling me down. I screamed and thrashed, kicking free, stumbling back into the stalks. The wheat writhed around me, closing in. Faces flickered in the gaps, hollow-eyed, mouths stretched impossibly wide, lips torn to the ears. Each one spoke in Eric's voice, all of them whispering the same word. I ran, blind, tearing through until my skin was raw. I don't remember finding the edge, only collapsing near the fire, gasping for air. My friends stared at me like I was insane. My arms were bleeding, my face pale, and they swore I'd been gone only minutes, though I felt I'd spent hours inside. We didn't wait for sunrise, we left in silence. Years passed. I tried to bury the memory. I moved away, got a job, built a life, but the whispers never left me. Sometimes, on still nights, I'd wake to the sound of wheat shifting outside my window. My name breathed faintly in the dark. Once, walking home after a late shift, I saw it. At the end of the street, beneath a flickering lamp, stood a figure, tall and thin, its head cocked at an unnatural angle, its outline wavering as if made of stalks. I froze, and from the shadows came the whisper, "Come back." I told myself I was imagining it. But the dreams grew worse. I'd see the field again, the bone scarecrow waiting, its jaw wide in a silent laugh. The ground split open beneath me and I'd wake drenched in sweat, certain that if I had stayed asleep another second, I would have never woken at all. Last year I returned. I don't know why, maybe to prove I wasn't afraid, maybe to see Eric again. The field looked the same, wild, endless, silent. I stood at the edge until night fell. The whispers rose, faint at first, then louder, a chorus of voices calling my name. I stepped inside. The stalks swallowed me. The voices guided me, not harsh this time but coaxing, promising warmth, promising rest. I followed my heart strangely calm, as if I'd been expected all along. At the center clearing, the scarecrow waited, its skull tilted, its jaw wide in a laugh that split the silence. The ground opened at its feet, the earth splitting like flesh. The voices screamed, but now I understood them. They weren't warning me, they were welcoming me. The last thing I saw was Eric's face, pale and hollow, smiling from the shadows. His voice was the loudest. "Stay." No one dares the whispering field anymore. The town pretends it isn't there, though everyone knows it is. Hunters go missing nearby, travelers vanish, and sometimes at night, when the wind passes through the trees, you'll hear it. The sound of wheat shifting, though no wheat grows anywhere close. If you ever hear your name carried on that breeze, don't follow it. Don't step inside, because once the field calls you, it never lets you go.